Romania was under direct military and economic control of the Soviet Union until the late 1950s. Romania then broke ties with the former Soviet Union, but the communist period began in 1964 by Gheorghe Ghearghu Desh, although it was more independent than other communist nations. Under communism, social work schools were abolished and there were no social service agencies prior to the end of communism in 1989. In 1970, a new law to protect children was passed to point the responsibilities of caring for children to the state instead of the family. This, along with the implementation of pronatalist policies, resulted in families being encouraged to place their children into institutions. By the end of Ceausescu's regime in 1989, there were more than 100,000 children in institutional settings. One immediate response after the fall of the communist regime was to open the 4 social work schools in 1990 to try and rebuild services. The first response to the child welfare issue was a quick fix, with the international community focusing on children in institutional care. Humanitarian aid in the form of material goods was provided by international NGOs and the government, but it was uncoordinated. There was a second child welfare reform period between 1992 and 1996, known as the contradictory period, which endorsed child-centered adoptions. International adoptions dominated, and in 1993, the National Committee for Child Protection was created. However, during the third child welfare reform period between 1997 and 2000, referred to as the real reform period, the child protection institutions were decentralized and new legislation was created. Its purpose was to construct alternatives to institutionalization, provide support for families, close institutions, and regulate adoptions. This was a great opportunity for real change and reform in Romania. In the deinstitutionalization period between 2001 and 2004, the goal of the government still focused on closing institutions, and policy changes were adopted to prevent children from separating from their families. It was found that minority children, primarily the Roma, were being separated from their families at a disproportionate rate. As a result, a two-pronged approach was implemented, which meant that strategies were used to support family reunification and to prevent further institutionalization through the development of community-based services. As the outcome, close to 45,000 children who were in residential care were reunited with their families or placed in alternative family care such as foster care. In the final reform stages of the child welfare system, Romania's evolution include alternatives to the institutionalization care system, which continues to develop with efforts to scale up services. Romania's accession to the EU in 2007 has brought continued efforts to strengthen public and private child welfare services. Today, National Child Protection is a department in the Ministry of Labor, Family, Social Protection, and Elderly, with a local department in each county. We are excited to be part of Romania's evolution. On our trip, we visited many service agencies in Cluj and Sighișoara that are doing great work with minority populations. First, to better understand the Roma population, we attended a presentation by Dr. Florin Moisa from Open Society Foundation, where he informed us about the Roma, Gypsy population and their oppression. To bring our newly found knowledge to practice, we visited Veritas Romania and the Christian Aid Foundation. Both work with the Roma population and provide educational services to them. We even visited the Roma in their neighborhood and taught the children how to ride bicycles. For the mental health population, we visited the Estuar Foundation, where the clients engaged in various educational, artistic, recreational, and cultural activities, including making various items to sell. We helped group members to make and fix jewelry. We created a ping pong tournament that they loved. and we took a trip with some of the clients to the Ethnographic Museum of Transylvania. We also visited the Elderly Care Foundation, which operates as a daycare center for the elderly population, allowing them to socialize and connect with others. Additionally, they provide home visits to improve the quality of life for older adults. Another organization serving the elderly is the Center for Care and Assistance. It is a public nursing home for fragile elders that provide 24/7 health and social services to the residents. We spend time with them, playing games and using the universal language of love and kindness to communicate. We were elated to visit Eche Homo, which is a group home for children separated from their families. Children were placed through the Department of Child Protection and have a plan of care that includes educational, recreational, and psychosocial services. We had the pleasure of helping children make decorations, play basketball, and other recreational activities. Autism Transylvania is a wonderful parent-led organization. They provide innovative services and education to children with autism and cloche.